when Obama came, you could put that one on. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of too many other things. In terms of the calypso opera thing, there's stuff on YouTube with Marvin and myself when we did
Moving to the left?
we did
No, not that Marvin. Okay.
no, Marvin Smith.
Oh, okay.
There's one that we did Bungee Garland's We Ready, We're Ready, We're Ready, We're Ready. That one.
I was telling them, would it be interesting to bring Impluse and yourself to do a collaboration? That would be bomb. That would be bomb.
So what exactly do you sing?
Calypso soca.
Calypso soca.
He's a very popular artist.
I know, dear. I didn't ask you that.
Sorry.
I wanted to know what it is he sings. Whether it's strip calypso, whether it's calypso jazz, or whether it's calypso soca.
Yes, I'm taking it, yes.
Something like that.
No, we got this for people, the background of what, people want to see. And, the interaction and the fun now, so. Because sometimes you just tape and people say, okay, they're serious.
Impluse, belt out one of your anyone. Belt out one of your songs.
That's all. Let me go live first.
Ah boy, that's the best.
So tape it, while we tape it, and we'll
Use
still go
my
live.
phone to go live, you know why? Because you want your camera not so good on your phone.
Oh, yes. And you get accustomed to going live from the camera itself, eh?
Just go live on the camera?
Yeah, just hook it up to the computer and broadcast.
I see. Yeah, I'm aware.
You want to try my phone as well? Which I might be able to find
No, we can do it.
the stuff.
Oh, your stuff? Yeah.
One, two.
You didn't work with yours on your phone? You don't work with your stuff on your phone?
Your stuff. I have always had music on my phone.
He also does carpentry as well.
Joiner and yeah, exactly.
Right now I need somebody to build a case.
Cobbles and
You can build a case for me to ship my artwork.
anytime you're ready.
Nice!
Just draw it and send it to me and you keep it.
You have to come and I have to show you everything. In fact, before you leave tonight, I'll show you.
Oh, I see.
All I need is, like, if I go to Horizons, I cannot afford Horizons.
You mean you want a trunk?
So, I
Like,
need,
a trunk.
no, you can't put everything together.
Yeah.
You can't put all the artwork
Yeah,
together.
you separate it.
If it's about between 6 and 10 pieces of artwork,
Use my
build a
Facebook
case
page
for
to
them.
go live.
Yeah, we
you understand? It's like a box. It's probably like about that wide.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
understand?
just put it in the description.
And it could, as long as these paintings are, you understand? About this wide, because that would probably hold about 10, and then
You know
about
it's
that
going to go
high,
crazy again, right?
right?
It's going to go
And you
crazy
just,
again, right?
it's like an encasement then.
All right.
Maybe the numbers going
Right?
to go like
When you know what I'm, you'll be fooling them, or you.
No, they're not going to be
They'll
folded.
be open.
They're just going to be,
Open.
look, you see how this is here?
Yes. Yeah.
This, and then a painting is going to go behind it. Not this one, because this is
Yeah,
a small thing.
Yeah.
But this, for example, this
Yeah.
here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Will it one behind each other, and about 10 of them. And I need a case, right, that can accommodate all of that. You understand what I'm saying?
So we
Doesn't matter because it's going in a palette.
lineman with
And it's just
Lineman
I'm just trying to get it to England.
Opera
all right.
and
You
colors.
understand? So it doesn't have to have a hand.
lineman with upper and
Because
lower.
when they come
Alignment,
here, they will pick it up and then
Into it.
automatically goes to ship. Right? Don't charge me too much money here. Don't be smiling either. This is serious business.
But I can't help it, that I'm a
Charge me no big set of money. Because
I can't help it.
I only look rich, I'm not. That is the money people.
I just happy person. I love happiness. I always.
You all like happiness. I like happiness too, but I don't like happiness where my money is concerned.
Well, money is making happy.
Money never makes me happy.
Serious, or something
The love
square.
of God makes me happy,
But
and
yeah, but-
the joy of
But
life.
if I need something and to make me happy at this point in the moment, I don't have the money, I can't get it. So that will
It means that you're not going to be happy
for that.
for that.
Right.
Yeah, but I'll be happy for other things.
Oh,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Correct, right.
All right.
Well, I'm keeping that, I'm keeping all of that. So let you go.
Oh,
Is that a table I now make for someone?
lovely.
So that's wood that I cut up and create that design.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Well, it's a pity I can't stay into the dad.
and this is I know this one for a year. This is that's when it now starts.
What are you doing?
That's
Yeah.
What are you doing?
television.
Well, the thing I want a whole lot simpler than
Start the
that.
line. Start the line. No,
You understand what I mean?
Well, what are you
Box,
recording?
like a rectangular type box that can accommodate those things in it.
That was recorded also, so we get
But
so
I don't want to
that
send it because you know
I
we're
like
mashed
it.
up.
behind the
Right.
scenes
It will be
of,
mashed up.
And
of
this
our
one,
interview.
yeah, that's fine.
Why we couldn't start us right?
Yes,
Oh, you could build cupboards and all
Yeah,
that.
that was
Very
cool.
good, very
See this
good.
one?
Well, I already can start, but I recorded here, but I can't start.
Champagne glass, George,
Well, yeah, I was
Finish.
Well, just
Finish.
introduce it, what's going on, say, start the line, introduce what's going on, and then they will just hold it.
Well, I'm sorry, I won't be living in Trinidad anymore. You have to come and build cupboard and all kinds of
This
things.
one here.
Such a pity.
Okay, so good evening, people. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Share the live. Let them know. Let me just tag in all the people who up. We can know a lot of them up, and it will be interesting to know what is happening. You know, and it's 7:30 in the afternoon. We ain't pan from the next time.
What's your name on side of that song?
Peace.
Silver Stars.
Silver Stars.
Yeah, we need smack band or Silver Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a recording studio next.
That is PC. We name Peter Lewis. That is channel something.
Right not Synergy.
No, they used to be. Well, them break away from Synergy to form this new station.
Okay.
Hello, babe.
We are live. Yes, we are live.
I would like to introduce Anne Fridel, our renowned
right.
operatic singer, who
Let
like
me-
to buff me every so often.
I'm trying to. Oh,
And then there's Impulse.
right. So,
Right.
go ahead. Start again.
You are well backsided.
Hello. What's your language in the presence of a lady, please? Stop.
Hello. Excuse me. Who? You?
Olha meu preto esse amigo com as manos pringo.
What?
Is that?
I'm between two nice ladies.
You know?
And this is
One
Impulse.
Trini and one Benny.
Which one you see, Benny? Which one you see, Benny? On me, Miss Lady.
Trini Valley.
Yeah.
Trini Valley.
Don't let her fool you, know, because she want to say all kind of things about me. But she's from the same area up in St. John's. That's why.
Oh, I am from San Fernando, darling.
Where you from?
I'm a Southern belle. Oil and beauty.
Yeah.
Okay?
And soca.
Hmm?
And soca. Oil beauty and soca.
And soca as well, yes.
Impulse. Tell us about your time you spent in England on this funny blacks.
Oh Lord, well, I can't tell you that because I'll be lying because I was 5 yet. I was not 4 yet because passing stage of 4, so I was 5 yet. You know?
Very interesting.
But what I love is making people happy. I love to see people laugh. In order for someone to follow me, I have to do things so that they could follow me. So I laugh a lot, so that they could follow me to laugh. Because the best tonic in the world,
Is laughing?
laugh.
Happiness.
Yes, the best. They use many muscles to frown and want to smile. Correct is right. So when you see again tired plenty, and you want to go and sleep and you're tired, that's because you're frowning too much. So you're using too many muscles. Correct is right. So you have to smile. I was somewhere at a ride for Kenny J. One of my best friends who died in COVID, Kenny J. Yeah. You remember when we get the news, we was up in Topo there?
Yeah.
And I wrote a song for him called Smile.
You
And
can say a
didn't
verse?
have time. Didn't have time.
You can say a verse, sir?
Let me see if I can sing out this one. Smile. You could feel a mile away when you smile. Brightening up your day when you smile. You're freeing up yourself when you smile. Don't study nothing else, just free up. Come on everybody and free up. Don't take on nothing, just free up. Good things will happen when you free up. Whoa, free up. Nice time to free up. Oh lad, free up. Come on and free up. Hey, hey, hey. You're always sleepy and tired. Check yourself properly. You know you didn't juggle too hard. You just sick mentally. Using too many muscles. Frowning all the while. When you only need one muscle. Only one muscle to smile. Free. That's the way to be free. The secret to be healthy is free. Set your mind at ease. Free. Just do good once you please. Don't mind the pressure. Just keep on smiling. Jah is the answer. Just keep on smiling. Let's get together and keep on smiling. Go hug your neighbor and keep on smiling and free up. Come on everybody and free up. Don't take on them, just free up. Good things will happen when you free up. Oh.
So who getting that song to sing?
Well, I think I want to give this lady this song to sing.
You want to give Miss Ann Fridel?
Yes.
Okay, well let's give me a verse that I'll sing. Just not an entire verse, but a line so that I can just copy it. Let's go.
Smile.
Smile.
You will feel a mile away when you smile.
You will feel a mile away when you smile.
Freeing up your day when you smile.
Freeing up your day when you smile.
So come free up.
So come free up.
Come on everybody and free up.
Come on everybody and free up.
Don't take on nothing, just free up.
Don't take on nothing but free up.
Lovely house, lovely. Anything better than you spoil vomit. And vomit can't spoil, so you get great. Yeah, but yeah, that voice. She nearly break the glass in me.
You see that? If you want to do a collaboration with a song like that, you want to?
Yeah.
Or you mash up this place, you know?
Yeah, but I've seen it now. A blind man with a wooden glasses.
Okay.
So let's get down to it, Miss Ann Fridel.
Yes, sir.
Because I know you wouldn't be in Trinidad for a very long time. You went back to England. Tell us your experience. Well, how long have you been singing actually opera, in fact?
I've been singing opera since the age of 8, but professionally, I would say at the age of 19.
19.
Started off, yes. I was part of an opera workshop, and I had the opportunity to sing in some of the major venues in England. For example, like the Purcell Room. Purcell was Henry Purcell, he was a composer. The Royal Festival Hall, the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the Royal Albert Hall, and certain places like that. And then after that I went on to Glyndebourne, my first operatic experience in a major opera house, which was Glyndebourne, which is a lovely opera house out in the middle of the English countryside. And of course the opera was Porgy and Bess. I thank God that he created George Gershwin, because through Gershwin writing an opera like Porgy and Bess, it gave us, as people of color, or as you say, as black people, the opportunity to be able to sing opera in a lot of these opera houses. There's always been a controversy about Porgy and Bess because it's a storyline that involves Americans, basically black Americans and white Americans, but they were the for example, like the detectives and the police and all that. And there's all the elements of life are in that opera. There is the whole lifestyle of the black people in South Carolina in those days, what should I say, the drugs, the hope, the faith in the religious aspect of us as black people. And I think that people tend to misinterpret certain parts of the opera because they are affiliated with like drugs. You know, they think that a lot of, I remember coming to Trinidad, there was one particular woman here that wrote an article in The Guardian and said, why do we need Porgy and Bess here in Trinidad? Well, it's not just a story about us as a people, it could be a story about any race or any community, you understand? So you have all the elements of every community in that opera. You've got love, you've got hate, you've got drugs, you've got faith. You know, at the end of the opera, there's a big chorus that said that goes, "Oh Lord, I'm on my way," which Porgy is going out to look for Bess because she's gone back to that bad life. But the whole concept of it is that he is saying, "Oh Lord, I'm on my way. I'm going to look for her, and I will find her," which is what motivates us as a people. In other words, we will not give up. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Right, we will not give up. We will find the life, the good life, at some point in our lives. And that's what the concept is.
But
of course,
why,
I could talk for hours and hours and hours on
no,
this.
but why would they associate opera with drugs and these things? Because me personally, growing up and like watching people singing opera, you want to know, well, what going on with these white people? Like, they just going mad singing and shouting, and it sounds so annoying. What is it? So
No, well listen, first of all, opera is like everything else. It's like musical theatre, you understand? There is a storyline to it, and the story is put to music.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So therefore, it's not just, you know, people singing. Basically, a lot of opera was written in Italian, because you know you've got the great Italian composers. It's written in almost every language, of course. In Russia, in Russian, in Italian, in Spanish, in German, everything. And so therefore, all that it does is tells a story, and the story is put to music.
But why would they but why would they associate it with drugs?
No, nobody's associating opera with drugs. I was just referring to the story that is part of Porgy and Bess. Because there's a character, for example, in Porgy and Bess called Sporting Life. You've heard that. It ain't necessarily so. The things that you're liable to read in the Bible, it ain't necessarily so. Wadu, Zimbabwe, Sporting Life is a character that, how can I explain who he is? He's a character in the opera that's a bit of a naughty boy. He's the one that goes out there, you know, trying to entice people into going into the wrong life. He's the one that encourages Bess, you understand, to be taking the drugs and things of that nature. He's the one that comes into your community, you understand, and tries to involve
the
people, men, women, whatever, in the bad life, you understand, which is a part of life.
Yes.
Which is a part of life in any community, you understand. Then you have the character that I've done most of my life, which is a character called Serena, okay? Serena is the matriarch of the community. She's the one that if anybody dies, she's the one that comes and lays hands. She prays for you. There's a big aria that she sings called My Man's Gone Now. And it's literally right there. The body is on the table there. You understand? And she's got the community all around her. And in those days, everybody in the community would go. There's a saucer, what they call it, well, they call it a saucer in America, we call it a plate. There's a big plate there. And as I'm singing the whole aria and the chorus, the people around me would be the chorus. You understand? In the funeral scene. And as they come around, because this is a community, they would put, what would they put in the saucer?
Money.
Put money in the saucer. Because it costs money, like in today's world,
to bury
the dead.
Okay.
And you've got to be careful because that dead has to be buried within a certain time.
Yes.
Otherwise, the white man will come and take that body and do whatever he wants to do with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? That was in those days.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, like I thought when you do bury at a certain time, which is 6 o'clock in the evening, you have to go back and wait until the next day in order to bury?
No, we are talking. Listen, we are talking. We are talking about life in the 20s and 30s and in America.
Oh, okay.
Right? Which influenced the entire world.
Yeah.
We have been extremely influenced.
Yes.
By America. You know that. You understand? Because when the slave ship came, it didn't just land up in America. It came to the Caribbean also.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? So why I think it's so important and that it was a joy for me to sing in this opera was because I was sent to England at the age of 11, okay? And I came from San Fernando. And I knew nothing about color. I knew nothing about color. I knew nothing about the fact that, you know, in other words, I knew nothing about my own history. You understand?
Oh, you know you went and just sing?
All I know, all I know is that my father is sending me to England to school, to a boarding school, very expensive boarding school, to get an education.
Okay.
But when I got to England, you understand, I was the only person in my school that looked like me, if you get what I mean. You understand what I'm saying?
What year you went to?
I'm not telling you that.
No, just out of curiosity.
Trying to find out my age.
No, I don't want to know your age.
I'm
going to say how. We went up in 1969, 70.
Okay.
Alright? And if I remember correctly, in those days, England didn't have indoor toilets in their days. It's the West Indian that brought indoor toilets to the English. And Daddy sent us, me and my siblings, to boarding school as well. And because of our color, they didn't know how to treat us because his idea was black or you're white. And me and my sister, we was neither. So we had a problem.
Okay.
Well, I can't say that I had that experience.
We had a problem.
Yes, I can't say, to be honest, that I had that type of experience. When I went to school...
You still went to say, oh, what year that was?
No, my sister went, my elder sister went to England in 1965, and I went to England in 1967, okay? And I went straight into boarding school. And what happened was that, okay, yes, I was the only person that looked like me, but I never knew about race. When I left San Fernando, I never knew the difference between black and white. You understand? And some people find it very hard to believe that, but it's the truth. I never knew about black and white.
Well, I didn't know
when I got to school,
we didn't know it either. And when our first year, first term in school, in fact, our first week, me and my sister, we got kicked out of boarding school. And my father said, no, I'm not sending them back. They're going to public school now.
Yeah, because you're with naughty girls. I didn't get kicked out of boarding school.
Excuse me. They want to tell us what? Who you is and whatever. It's my sister who started the fight first. And I'm sorry.
You sure?
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's my younger sister. Because I am not going to stand up and watch somebody beat up my younger sister. No, Jump in or jump in. And we got banned. We got kicked out for the first week.
When I went to boarding school, Val, I auditioned for my school choir, and I became the soloist for my school choir. You understand? All those white girls, there was one African girl in a form that was higher than me, and that I had absolutely nothing in common with. And until one day she was crying in the common room when we were watching TV after Top of the Pops, which was the only thing we were allowed to watch.
That was so
Wait, what? Top of the Pops?
Top of the Pops.
Top of the Pops.
And
What's
you know
that?
something? I had to ask her.
It was a program they ran for music. Every week they'll come with this.
What was that American show that used to have Don Cornelius? Remember Soul Train?
Yes.
It's the English version of a Soul Train.
Yes.
Oh,
With
okay.
predominantly white
Right,
artists and
okay,
stuff. And what
okay.
I was trying to say was that in school, after I auditioned and everything, for the choir and everything, those white girls in the school, they worship the ground I walk on.
Really?
Yes, they worship the ground I walked on. They used to call, the only thing was, I never made anything of it. They used to call me Frizz, because my hair was very frizzy. You know, like those were the days of,
like
afro and everything. And everybody, I was like the most exotic thing in my school. So everybody wanted to be friends with me. You know, and sometimes when I talk to Americans like, about this, they don't believe me. You understand? When I discovered race, right, was that same day in that common room when I saw the African girl, Ola Durashola was her name. She was from, I think she was from Liberia, crying in the common room, 1968. And I said to her, I said, Ola, what's wrong? And you know what she said to me? She said they just killed Martin Luther King. Now, to be honest, I didn't know who Martin Luther King was in 1968. Because for God's sake, I came from San Fernando with my parents.
We ain't got no TV.
I don't, when we no TV? We had TV, we had black and white TV. That would be probably after his time, that's fine.
I know you want to know our age, you know, but
No, I don't want to know her age.
because I know it.
Well, you better keep quiet if you want to continue living, right? So anyway, in school,
Yes, yes.
they worship the ground I walked on in school. You understand? And you know something? Those same girls, anyway, no, we talk about Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Before I go into the other thing. And Ola explained to me who Martin Luther King was. Do you understand? Now there's a place in London called Speaker's Corner, which is part of Hyde Park Corner.
Right.
It's
Where they go.
like Woodford Square, though,
Yes,
right?
you're right.
When they used to have it, when they have Parliament and they had speakers in them outside Woodford Square.
Exactly.
Speaker's Corner it's like that. It's still going, you know.
Still going. So we were allowed in school.
If there's like these days, Speaker's Corner, you walk with a basket of rotten tomatoes or something and they start talking shit. It's nothing but yes. They will start getting done.
Anyway, what happened was we were allowed to go out as a foreign student.
Yes.
I was allowed to go with another student from the school on like what we call a Texian weekend, which was like a weekend out. And we usually go, because I went to school in Brighton, we usually go up to London, because that's where the action is, you know. And
Yes, I like Southeast Street person, just like myself. So all the thing up you're saying there, appearance, I'm Southeast as well. Thanks!
excuse me? What was that about?
Southeast England.
Yes.
Like in the Southeast, we are from Southeast as well. Croydon. You know that?
Croydon? Yes, I'm from Croydon. Well, I live in Croydon now, but I'm talking about when I went to boarding school. I was in Brighton.
I went to school in here, man.
So I used to go up to London on the weekends, right? Sometimes allowed, you know, they have to have my parents' permission first before, you know. Go up to London, go to Speaker's Corner. And that's where I gained a lot of knowledge, actually. There was a Guyanese man by the name of Roy Saw, he was an attorney at law, but he was an excellent politician as well. And to be honest, that was one of the most, how should I say, influences that I had in terms of my own Caribbean life, who I was, etc. I met Arthur Ashe. I don't know if you remember Arthur Ashe.
But,
he was the famous tennis player.
Guyanese,
you know.
Guyanese in those days, I must admit, had a lot of influence on a lot of West Indian people in England growing up in those days. It wasn't hearing so much about Trinidadians and Jamaicans and so forth, but everywhere you turned there was a Guyanese person, and they always seemed to have been assisting other West Indians like now land to adjust to this new life. And she was talking and she met a Guyanese who opened the door for her or two for her. And it's a Guyanese late girl, my same age at the time in school, who assisted me and my sister to adjust to this new world that we seem to have fell into.
So let's fast forward it. So you now become the adult.
Now become the
adult.
Not now,
adult?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what you mean by adult.
No, well, at that time.
No, he want to get patas.
No, well, you now reach the adulthood in England.
Oh.
Because
no, but it depends what you mean by adulthood.
Well, 18 years, well, now it will be 18 years, but at that time it might have been, what, 21 years in order to be an adult? Or to be considered to be adult?
Yeah, well, what do you mean? What is your definition of adult?
Well, being able to go out on your own, you know, probably take your little boyfriends on the side, you know.
Well, I mean...
Because you went boarding school, so there's not no boys in school.
No, but there was a boys' school very close by, though.
Okay.
Hello, story done there.
Move on. With the church services at their chapel. and we had a professor, we had one male teacher in the school that used to drive a motorbike. So it was the big thing that for whichever person to get a ride on his motorbike to go to church, you know. But we don't have to walk from high school, walking what we call crocodile. Walking in crocodile meant walking in twos, you know, one behind each other. And but sometimes, you know, you'd be able to get a lift on Mr. Crowther's motorbike. But adulthood, I think that in many ways, you know, I wasn't allowed to become an adult, as you put it, boyfriends and all that, because I was always under my father's, you know, and always had to have permission to do anything, to go anywhere. I mean, I had a guardian. You've heard of Larry Constantine. Larry Constantine was my guardian. You know, he was a famous cricketer, and I would have to report to him anywhere that I was going. So after once, for example, like holidays, school holidays, I was either allowed, in the summer holidays, I was allowed to come home to Trinidad for the long summer holidays, and the other holidays, I would have to go to the home of either an English family or one of my school friends, or sometimes go on a school cruise, which meant that we would go to some island like Sardinia or some part of Spain or whatever.
One of the favorite places they used to send us was Mediterranean.
Yeah,
Tunisia.
Yeah,
Tunisia, Morocco, or one of those those Mediterranean countries.
The Casbah.
But you know what? I remember Dad sent me and my sister to one of these excursions to Tunisia. And we there were a set of English people, and this guy just demanded, I want my fish and chips. And I'm like, why don't you just try the local cuisine? And he's just like carrying on and on about his fish and chips. I'm like, I could have taken that plate and hit him in his head to shut up.
Well, darling, now they're eating more curry, goat and roti and all that than you and I put together because that's what England is all about.
I know, they're number one in curry now.
Yes, and they love the whole Caribbean life. You know, the Caribbean food, they love our culture. Look at Steel Band.
I thought we come here to talk about that thing. Why are we talking for curry?
Sorry, talking what?
For curry.
For curry?
Curry, you don't talk curry, they talk that?
You've been under the influence of Valarie.
He don't need my influence. He influencing me with some talks.
So, let's fast forward more now. Because I don't want to, because people know your actual age and, you know.
Whatever.
But
She's ancient now.
you go,
very much like my friend Valarie.
so you get the opportunity.
I am proud of it, don't worry.
No, but you got the opportunity to sing in the White House. You get the opportunity to sing in the White House.
I never sang in the White House.
She sang for Obama.
I sang for Obama right here in this country.
Oh, in this country, yeah. When
Yes.
for
The fifth summit of the
The Americas.
Americas. Yes.
Oh.
I sang the anthem of Trinidad and Tobago, invited by two people. Brian McFarlane was one,
Yes.
and the other person was Mr. Patrick Manning, who was our Prime Minister at the time. You understand? And it was such an honor for me.
Correct.
More than anything, is my claim to fame. You understand? I was looking the other day and I see 70,000 people have seen that you know,
This
on
summit,
YouTube.
yeah.
And even though a lot of people, I got a lot of flack for this, you know. I really did. I had people calling in and saying all kinds of very and most unpleasant things about
How you sang the anthem?
no, not only how I sang it,
She had
but
a flower in her
but
hair.
I had a flower in my hair and they misinterpreted
It's
the whole
Balizé.
thing, and they said it was a Balizé. Now you can imagine. Is it really possible to put a big old Balizé in your head? I mean, that's ridiculous.
So the people don't call you so you know.
Oh, honey, you have no idea.
But
They tell me, they say all kinds of things. Some of the things I can't repeat
No, don't-
because I don't use that kind of language.
But that show you how we think as a people.
Yeah.
You understand me? How
Oh,
could that be a
okay,
Balizé? How could that be a Balizé?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, a big snake crawled out of his head.
It was
small-minded.
because it was, you know what it was? It was an orange heliconia.
Yeah.
And that is what people got.
You had to tell them what it
They
is.
misinterpreted.
No, you had to tell them because they don't know what is a flower.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
Balizé, okay, the Balizé is part of the family.
Yes, of the
Heliconia
Oh, right.
family.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was not wearing a Balizé in
Yeah.
my head.
No,
So
but-
how do you
no, but because of the design.
I could bet you money right now that if you was wearing a steel beam or the rising sun, the same people calling you was calling you.
No, congratulations.
Yeah, that one.
I say, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, well, believe me, I got. But you know something? I'll give you a little joke. I don't remember. Do you remember Andy Johnson?
Yes.
Lovely man. So he calls me up after, because it was in the front page of the Trinidad Express. I think it was in the papers, all the different papers, but in the Express it was right there. And it accentuated this big old flower in my. So a day or two after that, Andy Johnson calls me up and he says, would you like to come and do an interview? And I said, well, what about? So he says, well, about the whole experience, you know, of singing the anthem for a distinguished man like the first black president of the United States. I mean, for God's sake, like I'm going to say, no, I don't want to sing for Mr. Obama. Yeah, right. Anyway, so anyway, and he calls me up and he says, come along, you know. I said, oh, okay, that's a completely lie. Fabulous. So I went on his show and we're talking. And I'm talking like New Trinidad, and I say, boy, yes, man, imagine they do this to me and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, don't forget, they had said that part of the criticism was that why did Mr. Manning invite this foreign woman to come and sing the anthem? Oh, hell Hello,
You are
I
Trini.
am born in San Fernando.
Tell them
Who
that.
could be more Trini than
Than
I
you,
am?
yeah.
Thank you very much. Right? So anyway, I'm talking to Andy and I said, yes, Andy, boy, I'm here for so long and oh gosh, yes, and I must take you for some time and all this kind of thing, you know, after he says everything. But how do you feel about the fact that, you know, Trinidadians have said that how Mr. Manning could find this foreign person, you know? So that came towards the end of the interview. So then, of course, I completely switched, you know, and it was my English accent, my boarding school accent that came, and I said, well, you know something, Andy, I can quite understand what you're talking about, you know, and stuff like that. So then, just at the end of the interview, after I fulfilled my English accent, I said, Andy, boy, I will see you later. I said, I will see you later. We touch base, you know. So, of course, he burst into laughter. He thought that was really funny. You know, high five, and that was it. We could be really ridiculous sometimes.
Serious, I'm telling you.
You know, really ridiculous
Sometimes I just wonder if I'm a human being.
Thank you very much.
Because James said them is human beings.
Human beings, exactly.
What fraction of
Where
that?
they come from?
I want to know.
Oh my goodness.
We have something going on right now in front of our eyes right now. COVID is here. Coronavirus is here. Carnival, so-called carnival is
The taste of carnival.
The taste of carnival is in 3 weeks time from now.
So after that taste, my mouth might be watery.
He's telling me coming down the road. Do you know we had soca groovy preliminaries last week?
What?
That's why when someone called me and tell me that I was shocked, I said, but nobody hear nothing about it. Let's say I want to come and take part in it. How could I?
But nobody know that.
Nobody knows nothing.
Wait a minute.
But
So
no.
hold on. We have soca preliminaries went on last week. Nobody, not the radio stations, not the television, not even the social media, we hear anything about it.
So who was the artist? Goes from Intertown?
Really don't know.
But that is the issue.
But the same thing would have happened with the carnival here because looking now, knowing when they put up this thing and say now, the safe zone and blah for carnival, and they never tell us anything. No, our entity called TUPO, the Carnival Association. Now, if the government call you and say, well, look, this is what they propose. Now, you now have to create a proposal also.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, you come back to membership.
Correct is right. Have a meeting with us and say, well, okay, what is this you all want? Because we are the members, we hire you, you know. You didn't hire us. So now, when you come now and you do your own thing and put it up there and say, well, this is what all you have to do. No, things don't happen like that. And this is what we're doing right now. Look, as I was telling you.
So hold on. Just what I was saying. We are a bunch of bullies here because, like I was telling him in the car, I said, look at something. For the past 2, maybe 3 weeks, social media, the television, and on the radio, they're hearing about Chucky Soca.
Yes.
They're hearing about Chucky Soca, this Chucky Soca. They didn't give us a date yet. But Chucky Soca running right through.
No, you have a date, you have a date.
Semi-finals last night, I think.
Yeah, they have a date, yeah.
Hold on, but what's going on with the art of Calypso in this country?
Well, I know
Calypso.
Calypso still will be on, but Soca, because even when I spoke to Terry Lyons, because I know there was on
So she gonna defend?
but she don't know what's going on.
Correct. Hold on. If the groovy was this week on there.
She don't know because up to
No, she is Monarch.
she's got some Monarch competition.
Monarch.
But in terms of the Soca, because she has Soca, and up to today I know people was asking on a chat room that I'm involved in. They was asking, well, what's going on with the power Soca and the groovy? And she and all didn't know, so
I don't know anything.
Yeah, but you hear about the
okay. I mean, you're discussing all of this fine and nobody knows anything. Who are the people that are in charge? Just I know George Singh and Chutney Soka, right? I know George Singh and Chutney Soka. And I know that George Singh is a man that will go out there and make sure that he promotes his business. Okay? Who is the person that is meant to promote the groovy or the whatever?
William Monroe is the one William Monroe.
Who is the person that can represent?
Who's the point person?
You understand?
Well, William Monroe already sells the Soka Monarch. The Soka Monarch not in William Monroe hand anymore. Remember, he had sold the first one after him. I can't remember who they did, but then Fair Lions came and did.
No. I think people mix. No, but I think people mixing up. You know,
what?
He didn't sell it. You know, what he did, he gave it out like a kind of franchise kind of scenario. But he is still in control of Soka Monarch because what he did, he set up a management committee. So that's how Fayan and them was able to take control for a year because he asked them to manage it. So everybody who come in now, like Schoon, Schoon and them was at one point in time managing it, and they had their time, and then Fayan and them came on, and then after it was these people in 2 years ago, in 2020, and but Monroe is still in charge of Soka Monarch. Eh?
I mean, he wouldn't let go the rights.
Yeah, he'd sell it. He'd sell it.
He had sell the rights, but
no,
he is not a fraction of it. Otherwise, he would have saved it the dime.
Well,
because Mr. William Monroe, he could market, he could bring back that. So something is wrong somewhere.
Well, I think it died under him, you know.
Something is wrong.
I think
he leave it up here.
Honestly speaking,
he leave it here.
No, what happened is that after the 2 million, and you had a change of government.
Yes.
And the change of government brought this from 2 million back to 1 million. Basically, the reason why George Singh and them was more successful in continuing their program is because George Singh and them was saying, no, we're not giving no $2 million just so. They are custom giving what we are custom giving, which is 500,000 car or $1 million. We staying with that. And they prepared for what could end up happening in the long run. But the Soka Monarch, they say they want 2 million. And then went down the road and Marshall won it about 4 times. And I think Palance and them did take it once. So, and with Super Blue and Marshall.
Make the Soka Monarch.
Right.
Is the Mecca, you can say, because
right.
He was the first one to wait and stay how long as
right, but Soka Monarch started to die. Soka Monarch would have died basically when most of the so-called top guns came out of the whole Soka arena.
Correct.
And they tried to revive it, but when Marshall slowly coming out after the change of government, then Soka Monarch took a dread nosedive because nobody didn't want to go. In fact, they was giving away free tickets for people to come in.
Because nobody to go and see.
Exactly. No, it had people to go and see. The problem what is happening with culture, like why is it happening with, like, alright, like opera. Opera will have a niche market. That they will have certain people in Trinidad who will want to go and take in opera. Soka Monarch had a niche market. Those who in the carnival fetting and because that's the last part before you go into.
Hold on, wait. Calypso also have a niche market that is dying because.
Well, they don't put the sword by Calypso throat and slit it, you know. It's just that it holding on with the lifeline water.
Well, I just wanted the lifeline because I ain't giving up Calypso at all because that is what make me. That would create me. That would mind me. That would make most of my children big man and women and married at this time.
No, but the way you would have put across Calypso, it would have been a kind of a way that would have attracted the younger youths.
Correct.
Because when you came on the scene and people started to hear Impulse, it was Bacchanal, it was Thomas, and all them trying to say, yes, what an ass I am. So,
and Marco here.
And Marco she, you understand? And the birdie and all them things. So when you jump on the scene, everybody know, well, okay, now boy, there comes man, you know, there comes man. So you came in the arena, was the commerce man in Calypso. And then you had other people who had come down the line after, eventually, who stayed in that lineage.
But to be honest, Calypso, the old Calypso and opera.
Mm.
It feels like have one group of people who will follow that
trend.
trend.
So we could, well, being here tonight, together with, what's her name again?
And Fridel.
Miss Anne Fridel.
Don't forget her name.
Okay.
So let me put the British accent on that. Let me put the
Miss
British
Anne?
Miss Anne Fridel.
Fridel. Okay, Miss Fridel. Well, I think we are here for a purpose. And that purpose is we want to change opera and so that.
Yeah.
By merging.
But
We want to create something.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people affiliate opera with the bourgeoisie and the high life and stuff like that.
Right, so you go up there and I will go down here.
No, it doesn't even mesh that way necessarily. I believe that I created the word calypso opera.
Calypso opera, that's nice.
Calypso opera. Who doesn't wish to believe that?
I'm
sorry for them. What I've done is that I've taken real authentic calypso, many calypsos of the past, obviously, especially the Lord Kitchener, because I think that part of the root of calypso has been lost or is dying. You understand? So I was determined to revamp it again. And what happened was I really went into research into the Lord Kitchener and found so many calypsos that had amazing lyrics, amazing melodies and everything. And I thought to myself, how can I combine that with opera, you know? And you found that because of the fabulous melodies that Kitchener had, I mean, you take a song like, the sun is descending, and the moon is approaching, and the crowd is gone. You don't bump. You don't bump. You know the kind of so far. You understand? The symphony in G. You understand? All I needed was to slow this thing down a bit. And there we are. You've got every element in it. For example, a song like the Symphony in G, you've got the element of coloratura. Coloratura is when they do what we term in opera as the embellishments. So it's got that in it. It's got the nice lyrical, I wanted a symphony to rushing on the pine. You understand? You take that and you make that into an operatic aria, right? Okay, we're talking about one song. But with all the songs that Kitchener wrote, for example, you can make a storyline. And every single aspect of that storyline has one of Kitchener's calypsos to go with it. You understand? Kitchener wrote a song called When a Man is Poor. I have never met one Trinidadian, calypsonian and all, that's ever heard that song, of that song.
Where's the name of the song?
Each man sits upon his chair and stretches hands without a care. A lovely home, a lovely wife to celebrate throughout his life. And then it goes, I remember all the words. Da dee da 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 dee da. The man just the opposite. You can sigh, you can cry, you were born to endure. That's what a man. That's when a man is born. And then you have the fabulous melody. La da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da da. And so it goes on. So what I have done with the help of the Lord Almighty was that I wrote a musical that is a calypso opera. It's a calypso opera musical. It's all about the life of the Lord Kitchener. Because, you know, he came to England, he spent a lot of time in England, and he came up to England. He went to Jamaica in June 1948, And he took the Windrush. You've heard of the Windrush. You've heard of the